Hello, I'm Emma and I'm the artist behind Moody Pidge. So I'm still deciding how I want to present my YouTube channel, and one of my ideas is having time-lapse videos with voiceover talking about a particular theme the artwork is based on, and I figured that my autism diagnosis journey would be the perfect place to give this a shot. So in this video I'll be sharing the time-lapses of the comic pages I did for the Century Anthology, which you can learn about more in the description below. Now, I've actually learned a little more about my history with autism after working on the project, but figured I'd share it as it's pretty important. I was officially diagnosed at 28 years old, but I only recently realised that I had already been diagnosed in Scotland before moving to England when I was 5 years old. From what I learned, it turned out that the teachers in the school I went to didn't think I fit the criteria for what autism entailed, I guess, and so I was undiagnosed. But the problem with that is that I was given no support whatsoever, was told off whenever I had meltdowns, and was basically seen as a nuisance, and soon learned that my thoughts and feelings didn't matter and it would be best for everyone if I just ignored the hot mess that was my brain. So I learned to repressy before I got depressy at a young age instead. It really showed me at a young age how different parts of the same island can look at neurodivergency and mental health issues completely differently, so yeah, that was a whole thing, and it really explained a lot for me. Anyway, due to said lack of support, I often found myself drawing. It was something I always got the most compliments on from teachers and students alike, and that was a helpful motivator to keep with it. Like most of us, I'm a sucker for compliments. But I loved creating characters and making stories with them or having them interact with cartoons and movies. And this continued through my further education. I studied animation up to my BA Honours at Newcastle College and got my Masters at Northumbria University. But it was after my Masters that I started exploring therapy art and using my characters for that. So to cut a very long story short, I created the 4 pigeon characters based off of my moods and would create artwork with affirmations or self-care reminders, as well as pieces exploring symptoms of my depression, anxiety and undiagnosed neurodiversity. Through these pigeons I found my voice, and I'll be forever thankful for that. Now this one, you'll notice some of the text is different in the final version, and this is because I worried that some of the thoughts came across as internalised ableism, specifically the I could have been so much further along by now and so many lost opportunities. Now this is a very big part of a journey such as this, where your thoughts can often reflect societal opinions, whether you entirely understand or agree with them or not, but with the comic intending it come across as a self-acceptance piece, I felt those thoughts might have been detrimental to the message, so I changed them to reflect more as a blaming others and myself for not knowing. I know I'd love to explore the thoughts of internalised ableism and wish I could have done so more in this page, but I only had 5 pages maximum to work with and figured that I'd be able to give the topic the proper attention that it deserves in the future. But regardless, it is important to share the feelings of loss as to what could have been if only I'd been truly seen sooner. They're normal to have, and you shouldn't deny yourself the chance to reflect and work through it. But the truth of the matter is, no matter how much I struggled, I'm content with the life I live now and where I am. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have needed to struggle the way I did, but would things have necessarily been better if I hadn't been undiagnosed? With the lack of knowledge the school had, it's entirely possible that they could have made things a lot worse. I wouldn't be surprised if they supported applied behaviour analysis therapy, and again, I'd rather give this topic the proper focus and attention it deserves, but I highly advise researching ABA and always listening to autistic people's thoughts on the subject over allistic people's. From the stories I've heard, they could have made me into an even bigger mess of a person. I'm not trying to say that would have been the case, necessarily, but no matter what, no amount of lamenting over how things went will change the past. When I struggle with this, I try to use gratitude to help me. Like, no matter how small or unimportant it might seem, I mean, it truly isn't if it can help you as far as I'm concerned. I know I'm not ungrateful for still wrestling with this. It's natural to mourn what could have been. but it's important to ground myself so that I can take what I learned to improve the present and make my future better. Oh, and in case anyone was wondering, the colour change wasn't really meant to be symbolic necessarily. I just couldn't decide whether to colour in full or have my piece in the Crumbs of Wisdom colour palette. So like most choices I've made in my life, I decided to have both, and I really like the effect it gives. Regardless of colour choice, I knew the last page needed to be in full colour and have the pigeons flying together. I don't really draw them flying together that much for some reason, despite the fact that they're all pigeons, although one of them has a physical time limit of how long she can fly, but that's a whole other story. So I was excited to have them all together like this. They all work really well together and they've really made my life so much better, which might be a bit dramatic to say about cartoon pigeons, but damn it, they're my cartoon pigeons and they've helped me through so much rough times in life. They've helped me to realise who I really am, even if it took me longer than it should have. But at the end of the day, now is always better than never, no matter how late it is. Thank you for watching and listening to my story. I hope you'll take the time to explore my work and maybe check out the Crumbs of Wisdom series where my pigeons share their affirmations with you. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.